Alright, we're here today at Hardracing, checking out the new OPMID on top indicator. This unit does it's a plug and play unit for your temperature for your head. It plugs right into the sensor on the side of your head, tells you what the motor's temperature is, and it also tells voltmeter. And we just got this in today. Show you a little quick shot here on the side. And it does Celsius and Fahrenheit. It does all the way from -10 to 180 Celsius, 14 to 356 Fahrenheit, and then voltage it does 8 to 18. So not only does it tell you how hot your motor's running and warnings and whatnot, it also tells you your voltmeter, so you know your charging system's working, your battery's got enough charge. Kind of nice to have. Obviously, this is going to be more geared towards modified bikes, but in reality, anybody that wants to know what the temperature is on their motor, make sure it isn't overheating, there aren't any issues, or the volts on the bike to make sure there's no charging system issues or battery's about dead. It's kind of a nice little gadget. Bolts onto your triple tree on top of your bars, and it's OEM plug and play. And we'll show you what's inside. Alright, so when you open it up, you've got your plug and play wire harness, your directions, and then your actual gauge. Well, that answers my question. Just double-sided tape on the back of it. Popped right out, nice and easy. Not easy, obviously it'd probably stay there a long time if you didn't mess with it, but now I popped it free, and now I can do away with the clamp and just find a nice little compact spot for this gauge. It's really nice, as you can see how small and compact and light it is. So it'll be easy to mount it anywhere. And this, obviously if you have oversized bars, you won't be using that. Alright, so you got your plug and play harness for your temperature sensor on the side of your motor. You got your program button. You got your plug and play harness for your power source, which is basically your front turn signal relay underneath the headlight, and extra wire for your ground. And then it all is going to plug into the gauge with all the same fittings. So first thing you want to do is pull off your side fairing and unscrew your headlight so you can access the fuse underneath there, and you're undoing your side fairing so that you can run the wire from the stock sensor up into and get it up into your gauge area. Alright, so now that you got your headlight off, first step will be to unplug your stock relay. And you'll see on this there is a gray wire on top and a black wire on the side, and you just match it up with these that are included in the kit, and you'll see that there's one with a gray wire and one with a black wire. So make sure that you hook up the gray wire to the gray wire and the black wire to the black wire. And then when you plug into your relay, make sure same thing, gray goes where the gray normally went. So if you're not sure, plug the relay back in and look at it. The gray wire on ours is on top. This may be rotated differently on your bike if you put an aftermarket one on or change the layout of it, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Just note which prong the gray wire goes into. And then when you unplug it, take that gray wire on the wire harness and plug it in there. That way you don't even have to remember. So on ours, and you can only plug it in one way with this plug. So on ours, right now, gray is on top. Gray here. So we're going to put the gray wire from that one there. And then you're going to plug the gray wire into the same gray wire right there. And the black wire, real simple. It's just gray and black. Just make sure that you match them up. If you don't, it's going to not work correctly. And then you'll have that extra wire which goes basically up to your gauge and powers it. Alright, so next you want to figure out where you're going to mount it. If you're using the bar clamp, then it's a no-brainer. If you plan on switching bars or going oversized or making a damper, then you're not going to want the bar clamp. You're just going to want to mount this somewhere separate. You can either mount it there or there or somewhere on your gauge. I mean, it's honestly so thin and small and light, you can mount it anywhere. And the best stuff to use is this 3M Scotch. It's called outdoor mounting tape, but the stuff is nice and thick and it is about as good as permanent, but yet you can tug and pull this stuff loose and it comes off like a gummy. So nothing permanent left over. It doesn't rip off, you know, paint or anything, but it is as good as it gets. It leaves a nice nice solid contact between the two. The only thing you want to do first is take alcohol and wipe both surfaces before you put this on. Cut it to size, put it on one side, mush it on there tight, and then put it on the other one. So, alright, next step, remove the little plug on your head temperature sensor. Press on the bottom of it, pops right off. Take the OEM harness that came with it, plug it in, basically run that plug that came with the kit down there and run the wires up, plug it into the OEM one, which you basically disconnect from the little grommet holders here and down there, and then tuck it up and zip tie it up out of the way. So now you'll only have one plug down there. It'll be a lot cleaner look. And you just basically route the new wire through the same grommet holders and then tuck it up here, out of the way, for a nice, clean, simple look. Alright, so once you've connected that wire, your last one will be the ground wire. It's also included, an easy wire to tap it right here on one of these triple tree bolts. There's two of them you can choose from. It's a nice, easy install, close vicinity where the wire is anyways. Then you take your little plug and button that comes with it. That's your last hookup. Plug that in, and that is your program button. Switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius and whatnot. So you'll mount that right there on the side, somewhere easy. You can push it with your finger, but somewhere where it's out of the way, because once you use it once or twice, you probably won't need to mess with it ever again. Alright, so now we're going to test it out and see how it works. Super awesome Grom battery with its monster voltage and 80 Fahrenheit. And that's what we have right now inside this room, so pretty accurate. And the only thing we had to do is change the settings to Fahrenheit from Celsius, and that's it. So what you do is you hold the program button, you turn the bike on, it flashes Celsius or Fahrenheit, you choose Fahrenheit, and just let it sit there for 5 seconds, and that's it. So now we have voltage and we have temperature. Now we know what the motor's running while we're driving around. It's all well and good to pull off the side of the road and pull out the temperature gauge all the time and probe it and shoot the laser on it, different areas, but it's a lot nicer just to have a temperature gauge of your head while you're driving, so you know if your motor's overheating, if there's problems and whatnot. And obviously for stock motors, this probably is not that important, even though it is nice to know if your motor's overheating. This is more for guys who have modified it with an exhaust, intakes, power commanders, and of course big bore kits, because number one thing that's going to damage a big bore kit is overheating. Piston gets too hot, it expands, it scars the bore, then you have problems inside. So now we can monitor it. One more nice little feature, you can set the warning for too high of temperature. If you want it to set an alarm per se, you can change the settings on it. And basically it will flash and say, oh, you're overheating. So you can set whatever temperatures you want on it, which is a really nice feature. That way, just in case you're not paying attention, you see it flashing saying, hey dude, your motor's overheating. So another nice extra little feature on there. If you're interested in these, give us a holler. We're at hardracing.com and we'll get you taken care of.